Hi, I'm Michael Froomkin. I teach technology law here at the University of Miami School of Law. I specialize in the internet, robots, and AI, and the privacy issues that they cause as well. So there are really two different things that I work on. One is the privacy consequences of new technology. Started with the internet, and now looking at robots and AI. And this, of course, is something that affects pretty much everybody. If you have a cell phone, if you use a computer, any of that stuff, then the research I'm working on is about the rules that will determine the extent to which you have any privacy left as we start building tools that follow you around all day, everywhere. And the other project I'm working on is about regulation of robots and especially artificial intelligence. Currently, I'm looking at issues in health diagnostics, but I'm planning to expand into other professions. And the questions there are really complicated because you need to understand a lot about how the so-called AIs work. We really call it machine learning. And these have incredible capabilities in really narrow areas. But as they get better and better, they take over more and more jobs that currently are being done by professionals. And there's quite a lot to be concerned about the black box aspect of all this. We don't always know why it's doing what it's doing. And there's also economic dislocation. Everybody from truckers to radiologists may be losing their jobs. So the great thing about technology law is it affects everybody every day, right? If you carry a cell phone, then privacy is a critical issue for you because we like to call cell phone a pocket Stasi, right? It just follows you around all the time. It's ratting you out to lots of people you've never heard of. The apps are getting the contents of all your contacts. They're trying to find out about your friends. If you're on Facebook, and I'm not, but if you're on Facebook, then it's totally mangling your privacy. They're manipulating you to try to keep you from adjusting your privacy settings. Anytime you tag people, even if they're not on Facebook, Facebook starts a file on them. So basically, all the things that we do sort of unthinkingly during the day have privacy consequences. And it's getting worse because now we're building these things we call smart cities. And part of smart cities is tracking everybody all the time. We track your car by the license plate. We track you by your phone moving through space. It has all kinds of good possible uses, ranging from epidemiology to traffic management. And there's all kinds of terrible uses, right? I mean, stores can use it to track you. I heard a story from a student the other day. They went and looked in a shop window, and then they started getting emails about, wouldn't you like to buy the products that were in the window? That's pretty creepy. As for robots, you don't see them as much in your daily life, but they're coming. You're going to have delivery bots, you're going to have delivery drones, you're going to have people's jobs being taken away by robots, whether they can see them or not, right? So the autonomous trucks may be coming for almost 1 million truckers in the United States, and we don't know what we're going to do with a group of people who are used to an independent lifestyle and don't have a lot of other skills. But they're also maybe coming for professionals, right? There's doctors and lawyers tasks that can be automated surprisingly efficiently. Certainly not everything they do, but specific part of the jobs. And for lawyers, especially the jobs that junior lawyers do. And that could be the source of a massive restructuring of the profession, and it's time to start thinking about it. So the first thing I want to say, and this is a little bit old-fashioned, and I apologize for it, but to be any kind of lawyer, the first thing you got to be is a good general lawyer. So I actually recommend the students who come to talk to me that they be sure and take a lot of the basic general classes, business law, administrative law. Take a tour of subjects that you're not even thinking you're that interested in because you need to know the general shape of the law. And certainly in my work with new technology, you're always getting surprises about the connection between technology and society in unexpected places. So if you over-specialize, you're actually not ready at all. So the number one piece of advice is get a broad general legal education. Now, having said that, there are some things you should take depending on what specific part of the problem you're interested in. So if you're interested in privacy issues, you're going to want to know about contracts, you're going to want to know about professional regulation, you're going to want to know something about the structure of the industry that might be causing the privacy problem, whether it's the communications industry or something else. Sometimes we also teach even more specialized courses. This last year, for example, I taught a course in robot law. We don't teach that every year. So there are specialized technology courses. And if you don't have any background at all in programming or something, we actually teach a programming for lawyers course, which is terrific. It's very hard work. It's not for everybody, but if you're up to it, it's a great thing to take. Now, if you're going to study robots, now we're talking about things that can actually hurt people in the world. So you want a good background in tort law, maybe insurance, local government regulation, because they exist in space And unlike the internet, which is regulated only by the feds, everybody can regulate a robot, right? State, local governments, national governments, international agreements. If they're drones, the FAA is involved, so you need to have a good regulatory background. It's really complicated, but again, you need to know law from a lot of different sources. We have this national conference, which we started here at the University of Miami 8 years ago, called We Robot, and it's coming back here in April next year. And that's a really big international event in which a very interdisciplinary group of lawyers, technologists, psychologists, anthropologists, ethicists, you name it, philosophers, all kinds of people, and builders of robots all get together and talk about the kind of issues that we think are going to be important in terms of legal policy and just public policy. And we try to stay about 5 years ahead of the curve, right? So 5 years ago, we were talking about what happens when an autonomous car hits a pedestrian. And unfortunately, that happened this year. And last year's conference, we were talking about the difficulties that people are going to have working along with robots in co-robotics, right? Turns out that, for example, if you're on an assembly line, instead of having a person next to you, you got a machine. Now, not only is the speed of the line set by the machine, but you got nobody to talk to. Your whole job has suddenly changed. Your whole experience becomes much more dehumanizing. And the amazing thing is that we're hearing similar stories about the use of robotics in professional employment as well, that it totally changes the nature of the job and the feel of the job. And that's pretty interesting stuff. The other project I'm working on that I think is interesting is a thing called Jotwell. It's a website, the Journal of Things We Like Lots. And what it is uniquely for legal academics, we ask people to say nice things. And believe it or not, lawyers sometimes have some trouble with that. But what we do is we take 300 of the experts in a whole bunch of different fields, and we ask them each to write once a year, about 1,000 words, about the most interesting thing they read in their subject that was published recently. And then we print that 5 days a week, just about every week of the year. And it's a wonderful way for people to keep up with developments in the law in all kinds of different fields. I'm sort of trying to make it the New York Review of Books for lawyers. And I don't know if we quite hit that spot. But it's a lot of fun to read. I have terrific time editing it, and we have wonderful writers. And it's surprisingly poorly known outside of law professors. Well, tons of law professors read it, but I'd like to see law students reading it too, because I think, if nothing else, it'll tell you what your professors are thinking about.